Let's go over what happened in the Discord Q&A live stream on the 26th of July. Hi everybody. This live stream was put out several days ago, but it's just finding the time to watch a 2-hour live stream and also put the notes together, which took a bit of time. So let's go over them in this video. Especially because I've been trying to enjoy the game myself and also post videos of gameplay, which I've been out on the channel, and we'll be doing some guides, I think, at some point as well. But we've only got a few limited days before it's gone for good. Anyway, in the live stream, Venom's butt was discussed because why not? The NetEase team from China are the ones that you see in the particular video, which the link is in the description and as well to here, where you can click on it and it will take you to it. But if you just want a quick write-up, then of course I've done it. And in this video, I'm adding a bit more context to things of the coverage. As we know, the story is Doom versus Doom 2099, and based on discussions with Marvel, this seemed to be more of a, not dictated to, but it seems like Marvel wanted to take that story. This might be something that ties into the greater MCU. Over San Diego Comic-Con weekend, we learnt of the, is it Doomsday or the Doctor Doom, Robert Downey Jr. is a thing. So imagine if everything was that related, but also there's a greater story at play with all of Marvel now is aligned in Doctor Doom being the new big bad. It's not Kang anymore, it's that. So it kind of feels like, well, if Marvel and MCU had a bit of an idea we're going that way, then what if the Marvel games as well were kind of reflecting that particular nuance or that kind of cadence? It doesn't happen all the time, but you know what I mean. In the Easter egg cinematic trailer, there are a lot of Easter eggs. We talked about Morbius being, if you've seen the video, you'll know that we did a quick reaction and went, well, you know, Morbius is sort of teased because of the bat. I'm not saying it is or isn't, because it could be a spell from anybody, but it looks like it could be a thing. The Sanctum Sanctorum map in the trailer is also coming, I think, as a lot of us know, but that was mentioned. There was also something about the Spider-Man skin. A lot of people have said about the dark changes to the way that the logo looks on the back with the spider logo, and that apparently is to pop off the way that you would see the character, because you're seeing it from the back because it's third person. That was something that was mentioned as well. Someone asked for Deadpool and Wolverine to tie into the film rather than Jeff and Thor. I don't think that's how it works with this stuff, because it takes time to develop these characters. Wolverine is in the game files, Deadpool is not currently, but I'm sure a lot of people would be interested with a mark with a mouth. And if you've seen the video, or if you're going to see something I'm going to post later on, there was some really cool art that came out that was kind of like a tempting thing, but it's not. It's from a different game. Galactic Protocol skin and favors are on rotation, because some people did ask about that going into the store, because for some reason it was removed or has changed. Somebody asked about the Peni Parker Neon Genesis coming into game, and it possibly will be. There was a lot of skirting around or kind of teasing around questions, which didn't really kind of give you much kind of clarity on matters. Someone asked for a DC crossover because some people are funny and edgy. I don't get so. I appreciate for some people they are aware of the DC versus Marvel comic book line for a limited time. It's just not something. It's like going to more like, it's not like Mortal Kombat multiverses and a few other things as well. And I don't think we'll get, because as you know, within the Marvel comic book stories, Predator and Alien have been added. So effectively we're going to get Predator and Alien in this game. Of course we're not, but well, weirder things have happened. They also clarified on mobile and console, it's not a thing. We're not going to be getting it. PC and console only as a focus, no mobile. Roll queues. Roll queues is still something that is a bit of an iffy one. As a British term, I don't know if anybody knows that one. In that we don't know if they will. Their narrative is play the characters you want. In some ways, yes, okay, we get that. But then there's the issue of the burden of not having healers or tanks on your team, or having that kind of, like, a lot of people just go, oh, screw it, I'll just go tank. And it may not even be, like, times I've been like, oh, I'll go healer, but I'm never really good with the healer. Like, I've had to force myself to learn Jeff, because, and I do all right with Jeff, but it's not something that I'm kind of like, I'm good at. If I'd rather stick with stuff I'm good at, which is like either tanking or Duelist, kind of, but it's still like a learning curve. You know, this game is pretty new, and we all get limited time to play it. So that's something that's still been, I think there's a survey as well at the moment about that. But this is all about giving the developer feedback. They need feedback. So don't get annoyed with them. They are learning. It's a beta. We've gone from alpha to beta. So we've got to give them a bit of time to kind of get it right or get it wrong. I think hopefully get it right. Doctor Strange portals, they said that was an issue from a creation standpoint, but also maybe exploitation, maybe revisiting that as well. Skins will not change abilities. This is a pretty major one right here, in that they said that skins will have, like, you can change your weapons. Your weapons look different, or what you're holding can look different, but it will not play differently. You will not get a different ability as a result of the weapons. Did you want that? I don't know if it makes it overcomplicates the game. There's sometimes where I'm like, I would like it different. Like if I had the Yamborn with Thor, then Mjolnir as a weapon, then would I like to have seen something different? Yeah, I really would. But I don't think it makes it too complicated for the game. And at the moment, I need to keep it as not simple as possible, but then challenge some stuff down the way. Someone asked about spending money on new heroes. From the information gathered so far, it doesn't look like that's the case. That you would only spend on skins. A lot of people do get very funny about, the skins being a thing. Like, in this game, I see skins being a payable thing, and also I see it being you spend your money on a battle pass. Those two things I can see absolutely, and I'm absolutely fine with that. I think a lot of people would if you play a free game and you don't want to spend any money, don't spend any money. If you want to support the developer, and Marvel Rivals and NetEase have put in a lot of money into this game already, and this is the problem with return. If they don't get return, and what happens? Servers off. Like that's what will happen. And this game is a fantastic game. I've been enjoying myself so much. Breath of fresh air, but they've got to keep financially going. Anyway, moving on, Forge and custom mode. Someone asked about a Forge to create custom modes, custom maps, whatever, map creation. Didn't really kind of give any confirmed answer about that one. Mobile to PC transition. Basically, somebody was talking about NetEase is a predominantly mobile games developer, which it is, by the way. However, though, this team has been created from a PC standpoint, or PC specialist console. Like, they create differently to that, so it's like they've hired in a new team for it, and this has been developed over several years, and it has been from what I gather, mostly non-mobile people that are setting this up, so that's something. Balancing was also mentioned. Balancing the focus on every character being fun. Again, it wasn't a very clear answer on how they balance stuff. We've talked about how monetization still hasn't been confirmed, and that's something maybe we'll learn when we're going to have a launch. Don't know. That's another don't know. Fixing bugs and issues. They seem to have a good understanding and handle on it of how a problem can be fixed and fixed quickly. But they were saying it's all done with QA and it's all done prior, which again doesn't really give a good answer to say, hey, if you've got an issue, are we able to problem solve, get this resolved within 24 hours? That was again unclear. The other thing was still focused on open beta. New characters, apparently more are coming soon. We all know about that because we've seen the leaks. Multi-role heroes. This is, as you know, I mentioned in previous videos the word hybrid. Some people were okay with it, others were not, and that is a difficulty when it comes to this game. How Marvel Rivals and NetEase pitch how you should strategize or look at the way that heroes are presented. Are they Vanguard? Are they Duelist? Are they Strategist? One might fall into another camp. Like, people may say, well, Venom is a Vanguard Duelist, but other people will say, no, you cannot have it that way. It is Vanguard or nothing. And that's a difficulty between understanding how NetEase are pitching this game at us and how we, the player base, see the game. And that's always going to be the difficulty I think we're going to find with it. And again, it's not super clear from them how that kind of comes into play. So I'm not going to go any deeper on that. New heroes and maps. The info from the release cadence is not clear, and basically season by season you may see new characters and new maps. So it might be like, oh, we're in season 3 when we go into the next run of tests. Is that like, okay, 2 heroes, and every time that is once every 3 months? That is not super clear at this stage, but that's definitely something they want to make clear to us. Lore and dialogue, again, something similar. Is like they've been super careful on that. Tournaments, they're still in testing, but they'd love to bring tournaments more to a ongoing thing, especially for launch. They also say that if you want to find out why the game is not in first person and sticking with third person in general, go to Dev Diary number 1. MCU skins, not really answered, but likely to come. We've seen it though. We've seen some leaked things of that one. We posted it here. Game modes, new game modes will be shared at some point, but they're going to come at some time. At the moment, they're focused on the 6v6, but there could be an opening to have a larger fight. But again, we'll have to see how that works. NetEase characters that the team would like to see in game: Professor X, Ghost Rider, Gore, Cyclops, Forge, and Domino, which is nice little question there. The Ultron leak was mentioned, as well as a few others, and there's a little bit, people a bit about that one. Anyway, patch notes. They're going to make them more detailed. One of the biggest things that I've wanted to see, and many others, is like, well, I know you've made changes to a character. How? What numbers have gone down? What's gone up? And I think a little bit more detail would be great. New MVP classification. So if I'm a top, like I've got plenty of content where I'm like, hey, I'm an MVP, but I've got like block damage, but also I've done a good amount of like damage myself with Thor. But what about healers? What about a 12k, 15k complete like healing fest from Jeff or Luna? Well, they may be having some new MVP things to benefit those. Skins and heroes, how do we decide like who becomes a hero? And that wasn't really answered. The example that I kind of look at and I kind of give is like, well, and the person gave Spider-Punk. Well, there's not a Spider-Punk character. A character that's able to wield that guitar, do sound waves, and would be a really cool character themselves. Unfortunately, it's locked as being a skin. So a skin for Spider-Man. So you kind of lose out on that very unique animation and interaction, which would just be so cool. So maybe down the line they will create character versions, but yeah, like, not particularly great when you're like, my favorite character is a skin. So I guess that is what it is. Also, somebody said that Hela, Hulk, Black Panther need to be nerfed because they're too OP. I've seen different data to say otherwise, and there's something really amazing I've got to share with you at some point, showing like win percentages under certain characters. Very, very important, but I'll share that soon. Balance notes and patch notes, we talked about that, and when they have stuff, they'll send them out to the community. Also deciding on melee versus projectile, and they were saying that Spider-Man, for example, is just a combined. They wanted to pitch him as combined. I suppose in some ways it puts it similar to Sony's Spider-Man, just because it's, fun. They also said that the resell and botting of the codes is something that they are looking to address at some point in the future. But for the meantime, they've tried to give out as many extra codes as possible. But I think it's just been one of these updates where I don't think they understand how popular the game is, and that is to their detriment because they're not really ready for it. But there we go. Optimization, somebody was very vague on optimization. I personally optimize better by reducing down my graphics, but that's because my PC is quite old. Hashtag new one soon. And then there's also other things like power of characters. The example being, hey, do you know in the comic book, Squirrel Girl defeated Doctor Doom? That is actually it's in a comic book arc. But imagine that if that was something in game. Well, that is actually something that's possible, and that's the kind of feel that they want to give. Is your favorite character, maybe one of the weakest characters in the MCU, Marvel comic books, whatever, but it can make a difference in this particular game, and that makes it fun because you can play your favorite heroes and villains and go, hey, great, they can do damage, so that one's not as OP as maybe one thought. And yeah, PC crossover competition. I think there's no plans of late to do that. So if you have a mate on console and a friend on PC, then you can't link together to play competitive, it seems. More server regions, it may be possible, but they just got to look at the numbers. And finally, the story of Doom. Yeah, so it's just a case of like what they're going down the route of no specific stories, but they're taking the best parts of the Dooms to create something together. Anyway, that's going to be it for the video. I added a bit more context to this. This is done as a community tab post if you want to go and read it. And also the full video can be found in that link there. Shout out to Miller Ross. And yeah, what are your thoughts on some of the things that have been raised in here? Lots of strong things I'm really excited for. The monetization information is something I think a lot of us need just to kind of like calm our minds of how they plan to make money. Also the Easter eggs, which is really exciting, and as well better information and transparency on patch notes. That's what I want to see. But yeah, anyway, that's been the video. Thank you for watching. Make sure to subscribe for more information when it goes live, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye.